This is Michael Falkner, and it's showtime, the October 25th, 2011 edition of the Weekly Podioplex, brought to you by the Chronic Rift. Let's begin with the weekend's box office results, starting with number 10 and 50/50, dropping from 7th. At number 9 is The Thing, with a precipitous plummet in the ratings from last week's 3rd. In 8th place is new release Johnny English Reborn, bringing in $3.8 million, which is less than half of the original's $9.1 million debut. Overseas audiences seem to like this film a little bit more, with a $104.5 million start. In 7th, we find Moneyball, down 1 spot from last week's 6th, and at 6th is Dolphin Tale, down from 5th. In 5th place is The Ides of March, down from last week's 4th place performance with an additional $4.9 million and a total of $29 million. In 4th place is new release The Three Musketeers, starting with $8.8 million. In comparison with the other autumn adventure movies, it's a so-so performance. Legend of Zorro made $16.3 million, and Sky Captain and the World of Tomorrow opened with $15.6 million. In 3rd place is last week's runner-up, Footloose, dancing its way to an additional $10.9 million and a new grand total of $30.9 million. In 2nd is last week's winner, Real Steel, punching in with another $11.3 million toward a $67 million total. So what delivered the knockout punch to the Rock'em Sock'em robots? That honor belongs to Paranormal Activity 3, starting its run at $54 million, which sets a new record for the highest fall opening ever. The last movie to meet that challenge was last year's Jackass 3D. It also beats Paranormal Activity 2 for the top opening for a horror movie. So what does October 28th and the Halloween weekend bring to scare the ghosts out of first? We start with Puss in Boots. Puss in Boots, an animated adventure comedy starring Antonio Banderas, Salma Hayek, and Zach Galifianakis.
You may know my name, but you do not know the legend. I protect the innocent.
We owe everything to him.
And in my brave and noble quest for justice, nothing will distract me. Oh.
This November,
Murderous outlaws have discovered an ancient power. With it, they can destroy the world.
Puss, can you help us? There's no time to waste.
I will do it. Puss! Humpty Alexander Dumpty. We're going to need her. She's Kitty Softballs.
I'll steal you blind, and you'll never even know I was there.
She is a bad kitty.
when the world is in danger, only one hero
Buzz, watch out!
has what it takes
Holy frijoles.
to fill these boots.
That's a lot of heel for a guy, don't you think?
9 lives.
Arrest them!
You got any idea what they do to eggs in prison? I'll tell you this. It ain't over easy.
One destiny.
My name would become legend.
DreamWorks Puss in Boots.
Puss in Boots is a story about the events leading to the sword-fighting cat's meeting with Shrek and his friends. Puss in Boots is rated PG. Next up is In Time, a sci-fi crime thriller starring Justin Timberlake, Amanda Seyfried, and Cillian Murphy.
Allow me to introduce my mother-in-law, Clara, my wife, Michelle, and my daughter, Sylvia.
Whoa, where's the rest?
Never met the quota.
My units are up from last week.
So's the quota.
Just once, I'd like to wake up with more time on my hand than hours in the day.
How old are you?
28.
I'm 105. But the day comes when you've had enough. If you had as much time as I have, what would you do with it?
Sure as hell wouldn't waste it.
The last time anyone saw him alive, there was over a century on that clock.
Well, follow the time.
His name is Will Salas.
You can't hide 100 years in the ghetto.
You know that time will get you killed.
Hey, Mom, I'm gonna get out of here.
I just wouldn't know what to do if I lost you.
I don't believe we've had the pleasure of your company before, Mr. Salas. Will Salas.
I'm sorry to have to break up the party, Mr. Weiss. I just need to work with your friend.
This is my death.
Please take me home.
Can't do that.
Why?
You're keeping me alive. How can you live with yourself watching people die right next to you?
You don't watch. You close your eyes.
I'm gonna make them pay. I'm gonna take them for everything they've got. Come on, help yourselves!
Take the time, it's free.
You put enough time in the wrong hands, you upset the whole system. Let's hope so.
If this works, we gotta get more.
I can help you get all the time you want.
You know we're coming to get you.
His crime wasn't taking time. He was giving it away.
In the future, people stop aging at 25 and must work to buy themselves more time. But when a young man finds himself with more time than he can imagine, he must run from the corrupt police force to save his life. Sounds kind of like Logan's Run. In Time is rated PG-13. Next we have The Rum Diary, an adventure drama starring Johnny Depp, Giovanni Ribisi, and Aaron Eckhart.
Puerto Rico. I came down here looking for a story.
It's called journalism.
Your resume here. Don't look so anxious. I wouldn't have paid for your hotel if I hadn't already hired you.
But I found the strangest paradise on earth.
Hey, you made it.
Thought you said you had a TV.
The guy across the alley has a TV. I have binoculars.
It's where your secrets come to dance.
Don't notice the wig.
And the voodoo works its magic. And if the drinking doesn't get you into trouble...
How does anybody drink 161 miniatures?
Are they not complimentary? The women definitely will.
I thought maybe you were a mermaid.
I'm from Connecticut.
Stay away from her. She's Sanderson's fiancée.
She sunbathes in the nude.
Take it like two maracas.
She's a sweet little beauty.
I was looking at his boat.
We've all been down on her. It's a wonderful experience.
Now, all this might sound like some crazed hallucination, but it's all true. I think.
This place is a sea of money, Paul. And there's people like me who know how to get it out.
Isn't that kind of thing illegal?
It's an inappropriate comment.
We've nailed this bastard to his own front door. I got a story for you. I'm going after him.
Are you out of your mind?
I'll bet you scream before I do.
No such thing as 470 proof alcohol.
What we do is private.
Front seat's gone.
I've got a brilliant idea.
Try and look normal.
American journalist Paul Kemp takes on a freelance job in Puerto Rico for a local newspaper during the 1950s and struggles to find the balance between island culture and the expatriates who live there. The Rum Diary is rated R. And last on the wide release slate is Sleeping Beauty, a drama starring Emily Browning, Rachel Blake, and Ewan Leslie. Sleeping Beauty is a haunting portrait of Lucy, a young university student drawn into a mysterious hidden world of unspoken desires. Sleeping Beauty is not rated. The limited release slate starts with Anonymous, a drama starring Rhys Ifans, Vanessa Redgrave, and David Thewlis. Anonymous is a political thriller advancing the theory that it was in fact Edward de Vere, Earl of Oxford, who penned Shakespeare's plays and is set up against the backdrop of the succession of Queen Elizabeth I and the Essex Rebellion against her. Anonymous is rated PG-13. Next is Like Crazy, a romantic drama starring Felicity Jones, Anton Yelchin, and Jennifer Lawrence. A British college student falls for an American student, only to be separated from him when she's banned from the U.S. after overstaying her visa. Like Crazy is rated PG-13. And last on the slate is Janie Jones, a musical drama starring Abigail Breslin, Alessandro Nivola, and Elizabeth Shue. A young girl who's been abandoned by her former groupie mother informs her fading rock star that she is his daughter. Janie Jones is not rated. Moving into the October 25th home entertainment new release slate, we start with Captain America, The First Avenger, an action-adventure film starring Chris Evans, Hugo Weaving, and Samuel L. Jackson. After being deemed unfit for military service, Steve Rogers volunteers for a top-secret research project that turns him into Captain America, a superhero dedicated to defending America's ideals. Captain America, The First Avenger is rated PG-13. Next up, we have Winnie the Pooh, an animated family film starring Jim Cummings, Craig Ferguson, and John Cleese. Eeyore has lost his tail, and Winnie the Pooh and his friends hold a contest to get him a new one. Winnie the Pooh is rated G. Next up is the release of The People vs. George Lucas, a documentary starring Mark A. Altman, John Barger, and Ahmed Best. This documentary uses a courtroom debate approach to explore the issues of filmmaking and fanaticism around one of the industry's most famous franchises and its creator. The People vs. George Lucas is not rated. Next is The Father of Invention, a comedic drama starring Kevin Spacey, Camilla Bell, and Heather Graham. After 8 years in prison, inventor Robert Axel struggles to win over his estranged family and catch up on current technology as he works to once again become the king of the infomercial. Father of Invention is rated PG-13. And last on the wide release slate is A Little Help, a comedic drama starring Jenna Fisher, Chris O'Donnell, and Kim Coates. A woman gets entangled in a series of bizarre lies in order to take care of herself and her 12-year-old son. A Little Help is rated R. Taking a look at the TV on DVD slate, we start with Tom and Jerry, The Golden Collection, Volume 1, an animated series starring Lillian Randolph. During the 1940s, MGM's Tom and Jerry series was animation's gold standard, challenging Disney in the animated short film Oscar category. The series featured slapstick gags and lush watercolor backgrounds and ran for 15 years, starting in 1940 with Puss Gets the Boot, winning 7 Oscars during its time. The plot is simple. Housekeeper Mammy Two Shoes warns Tom that if he makes a mess or fails to catch the mice, he's going to be kicked out. Jerry, a mouse, overhears that threat and makes trouble. The studio does warn, as they do with most cartoons from this era, that there are ethnic stereotypes included that do not reflect the moods of the current day. Next up is Barney Miller, the complete series, starring Hal Linden, Max Gale, Ron Glass, and Steve Landisberg. Running on ABC from 1974 to 1982, Barney Miller was a sitcom set in a New York City police station in the Greenwich Village. Captain Barney Miller is the kind of cop we'd all like to meet. He somehow manages to maintain order over a group of inner city detectives who gamble for a hobby, get hit on by anything in skirts, go to Renaissance philosophy conventions for fun, and would really prefer to be writing. Going a little darker and across the pond on the procedural front, we have Luther Season 2, starring Warren Brown, Idris Elba, Paul McGann, and Dermot Crowley. Luther is a British crime procedural following DCI John Luther and the rest of the London homicide detectives. The newest bad guy in the block is a phantom who wears a mask, committing random acts of violence and mayhem precisely to wake this country up, as he tells Luther in an untraceable phone call. As the police work feverishly to save one of their own, Luther is trying to rebuild his shattered personal life. On the animation front, we have 2 releases from the Avengers: Earth's Mightiest Heroes, starring Eric Loomis, Colleen O'Shaughnessy, and Rick D. Wasserman. After 74 villains break out of prison, Marvel's most powerful superheroes team up to capture all of them, and also defend the Earth from widespread threats. This week brings us Volume 3, Iron Man Unleashed, and Volume 4, Thor's Last Stand. Switching universes from Marvel to DC, we have Young Justice Season 1, Volume 2, starring Nolan North, Carrie Payton, and Danica McKellar. Robin, Aqualad, Kid Flash, Superboy, Miss Martian, and Artemis. Combined, these 16 heroes are Young Justice, the Justice League's secret weapon against the forces of evil. Based out of The Cave, the teen heroes will take on the under-the-radar missions that would be impossible for the League proper to handle covertly. In addition, these kids are in constant training to take their place alongside the great heroes. Red Tornado supervises while Black Canary trains, and Batman hands out their assignments. Young Justice will push their missions, often turning a simple assignment from the Dark Knight into something much larger, and quite often discovering that what they've been tasked to do is just the tip of the iceberg. In animation releases that might not be quite suitable for kids, we have Robot Chicken Season 5. From the creators Seth Green and Matt Steinreich, Robot Chicken is stop-motion animation with a demented twist, and no pop culture franchise is safe from parody by action figure. And we round out the TV on DVD release slate with a quote-unquote reality show. Survivor Season 5, Thailand. Survivor Thailand finds the Sukjai tribe battling the Choi Gan in the rugged beauty of the mountainous island of Koh Tao, Thailand. Home to everything from wild buffalo to king cobra, the only thing more treacherous than the island is the cast itself, in a season rife with double crosses and false alliances. Next, we take a look at classics coming to Blu-ray, and we start off with the Jurassic Park trilogy. You won't believe your eyes when dinosaurs once again roam the Earth in an amazing theme park on a remote island. From Academy Award-winning directors Steven Spielberg and Joe Johnston, the action-packed adventures find man up against prehistoric predators in the ultimate battle for survival. This epic trilogy, that was 65 million years in the making, contains all 3 films, digitally remastered for enhanced picture and sound, digital copies of each of those films, the 6-part documentary Return to Jurassic Park, making of documentaries, an archival discussion with author Michael Crichton, and much, much more. Jurassic Park is from 1993, starring Sam Neill, Laura Dern, and Jeff Goldblum. During a preview tour, a theme park suffers a major power breakdown that allows its clone dinosaurs to run amok. It was followed up in 1997 by The Lost World Jurassic Park, starring Jeff Goldblum, Julianne Moore, and Pete Postlethwaite. A research team is sent to the Jurassic Park Site B Island to study the dinosaurs there, while another team approaches with another agenda. And those two were followed by Jurassic Park 3 in 2001, starring Sam Neill, William H. Macy, and Téa Leoni. A decidedly odd couple with ulterior motives convinced Dr. Alan Grant to go to Isla Sorna, the alternate lab for Jurassic Park, resulting in an unexpected landing and unexpected new inhabitants on the island. Jurassic Park, The Lost World Jurassic Park, and Jurassic Park 3 are all rated PG-13. Still in the vein of islands, but without those dinosaurs, is Island of the Lost Souls from 1932, a sci-fi horror film starring Charles Laughton, Bela Lugosi, and Richard Arlen. An obsessed scientist conducts profane experiments in evolution, eventually establishing himself as a self-styled demigod to a race of mutated half-human abominations. The Island of Lost Souls is unrated and is available this week on Criterion DVD and Blu-ray. Next up is The Conversation from 1974, a mystery thriller starring Gene Hackman, John Cazale, and Alan Garfield. A paranoid and personally secretive surveillance expert has a crisis of conscience when he suspects that a couple he is spying on will be murdered. The Conversation is rated PG. And to round out our classic slate, we have Tinker Tailor Soldier Spy from 1979, coming to both DVD and Blu-ray. A drama thriller starring Alec Guinness, Michael Jaston, and Anthony Bate. In the bleak days of the Cold War, espionage veteran George Smiley is forced from semi-retirement to uncover a Soviet agent within MI6's echelons. Tinker Tailor Soldier Spy is not rated. And now it's time for the Quick Flicks. Harry Potter director David Yates was going to direct the silver screen version of Stephen King's The Stand. Note the use of the past tense verb there, because Warner Brothers has now tapped screenwriter, actor turned acclaimed director Ben Affleck to tackle the adaptation of King's tale of choice survivors of a global apocalypse started by a virus. Warner Brothers previously announced that the Harry Potter team of screenwriter Steve Kloves and director David Yates were going to adapt The Stand over 3 films based on their success with The Boy Who Lived. It is unknown why Yates is no longer attached, or even if Kloves is still in the game. It's the comic book property that refuses to die, and this time it's back as a procedural on your television screen. Fox is committed to a pilot for The Punisher, which will feature the angry vigilante Frank Castle from Marvel Comics, but the promise is that this won't be the Frank Castle you've seen in any other version. Fox wants an NYPD detective by day and vigilante by night kind of show. Former Chicago police officer and co-creator of Third Watch, Ed Bernero, is executive producing the show. Given that it's on Fox, anyone want to start placing bets on how soon this gets axed? If you want to discuss anything you heard on this week's edition, please take a moment to get in touch. You can surf on over to chronicriff.com and leave a note in the forums. You can leave a voicemail at 888-866-9010, or you can write to John at chronicriff.com. You can follow us on Tumblr, tweet us on Twitter, check in the network on GetGlue, and leave us a review on iTunes. The more stars, the better, please. You can also find the Weekly Podioplex and the Chronic Rift on Facebook. We are all over this internet thing. If you decide to pick up any of this week's new releases, why not do it through our Amazon store? You get the newest entertainment at Amazon's low prices and high-quality service, and each purchase you make through the store supports the Chronic Rift. Look for the link in our show notes. The Weekly Podioplex is a collaboration of Criticality and Lucky Shot Productions. This is Michael Falkner. Thanks for listening. Have a safe and fun Halloween, and we'll see you at the theater.